How you doing? I hope all is going well. In some parts of the world, happy Thanksgiving. If you're hearing this on Thanksgiving Day, maybe you're driving somewhere and you decided to tune in. This is Matt Javitt, part of the traveling couple, Matt and Nikki Javitt, that make up PassportJoy.com. We share information not only on this podcast, but also on that website, PassportJoy.com. And the hope is Nikki and I had the crazy opportunity to travel the world for 27 straight months, 35 countries. And now we just want to give back some of the information that we learn as we continue to travel and answer questions along the way and just share some of the cool stuff that we've had the opportunity to go through and experience. That's what today's show is about a bit. I'm talking a little bit about the Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania trip that we just took. Also taking a bus ride, taking a mega bus from Chicago to Indianapolis, and just touching on stuff like that. First, I want to just talk about Nikki and I. We lost Nikki's grandmother this past week, and it just makes it's those things set you back a little bit and make you reflect on life and remind us how lucky we are to just live day by day. And even though she was in her 90s, she had the vibrancy of somebody that was still very young. So that's something that as you take this journey, always, if you listen to me enough, you know that I'm always about continue to be open and grow and challenge ourselves, and she absolutely did that. So just, I don't know, it's one of those things where this time of the year helps you reflect and make sure that you're making the most of life, and part of that is traveling. So make that, take those crazy trips you got planned, get after that bucket list and make some stuff happen. There's exciting, for me, an exciting thing that happened recently is season 2 of World Barbershop Adventures has hit Amazon Prime. This is so cool because Amazon Prime is a respected format online. It's kind of like when people talk about Netflix, they talk about Amazon Prime. So for us to have the show on Amazon Prime and now season 2 drop with Doha, Qatar, Hyderabad, India, Kingston, Jamaica with Chris Gale, this Pittsburgh episode with Juju Smith-Schuster, Pattaya, Thailand with my buddy Chris, and the Fiji Islands with my buddy Dave. I'm really excited about this, and I think that it's going to help continue to put it out there and let people understand that having a barber shave or haircut when you're traveling is a cool thing, and it opens your eyes up to new cultures. And I'm all about travel and that exposure. And I think that the series is going to do that. So please check that out. Again, World Barbershop Adventures. If you have Amazon, go to Amazon Video, and you can even just speak into the Alexa and just say World Barbershop Adventures. It'll pop up. Or if you just search for it using the search form, you'll find it. But that's season 2 now. Now we got 12 episodes out there, and it's going to continue to grow because I've got some cool stuff coming up. We got a Phoenix trip coming up soon. Where we're definitely going to tape an episode, but I've also booked a trip to a prison in Indiana. So I'm going to go to a prison and have an inmate cut my hair. So that's going to be nuts and awesome and exciting. And as I was like talking through that whole situation, I kept thinking to myself, I've had scarier situations where I've been in places where I've had a razor on my neck and not knowing anything about the culture. So I'm not nervous about it. It's just the coolness of it to be able to go to a prison and get a haircut from an inmate and somebody that's trying to rehabilitate themselves. And this could be their future career, and go in there and chop it up with them, have a good time, hang out, and understand kind of their perspective on life now that they've been behind bars. Okay, real quick, let's talk about my bus trip. So I went to Chicago. I went up there for the International Association of Chiefs of Police event, where I was trying to learn more about the police industry because I've got my book now, which is selling a lot. I'm excited about the response rate, especially near the holidays. I'm starting to sell a ton of those books. If you want to go see it, policearoundtheworld.com is where you get those. But it's exciting to see that. I mean, I'm selling them from coast to coast across the country. So that's been a lot of fun. But I'm up there just checking out the event. There's a 3-day event where the entire law enforcement industry get together and they kind of just show off their toys and all the cool stuff that they're doing in the industry, whether it's services or products. Like there was this Hoover bike from Dubai. They had massive armored trucks, all kinds of weaponry and protected gear. And I was hoping to understand the people that I represent in this book better. As I'm selling a lot of these books, I want to know those people better. So I'm up there hanging out for a few days. Nikki went up with me because it was a Saturday. She went up so she could hang out with her sister and the kiddos, our nieces, and then she came home alone. So it left me up there. We only have one car now because we just decided on the move back that we didn't necessarily need to. And we've been doing really good with just the one car for 6 months. So I'm up there, and I decided that I'm going to take a megabus home. Now, there's a bunch of these now. There's a big competition between Megabus, Greyhound, and there's a few others in America, depending on what region you're in. But they're nice, comfortable, big buses. I guess I say that because that's the bus that I got. This isn't my first time. I actually did an Indianapolis to Cincinnati round trip before as well. That was probably 4 years ago. But this Megabus to Chicago ride, and if you know anything about driving through Chicago, first of all, it's chaos because of some of the drivers and the traffic. There's a lot of toll roads that you have to pay for as well, depending upon the route you go. And it can be stressful for some people. And I'll tell you this, because I'm going to talk about the Pittsburgh Trip in a minute. Driving on the road in 2019 is so different than it was 15 years ago. First of all, there's semis everywhere. Now, we're in this period of time where everybody's buying everything online, and it's going to continue to increase that way. But semis just dominate the roads. So that can be very intimidating for people. And I think the driving today is worse than it's ever been because cell phones. And we as we pass people along the road, I'm not trying to act like I'm better than anybody, but I try to be extremely aware because I see how crazy these drivers are. But we pass a lot of these drivers, and a lot of people are on their phones. So it can be scary and intimidating and reckless at times as people are I see their tires swerving off the road a little bit, and I'm just trying to get by them just so I don't have to be around them anymore. But so all those factors, bad drivers, semis, toll roads, chaos on the roads, I was like, you know what, I'm going to take a bus home. I'm going to experience this, see if this is a good form of travel. And first of all, the price, you cannot beat it. My ticket was $5. I know it was on a Wednesday, and I booked it 2 weeks prior, but it was a $5 bus trip from Chicago to Indianapolis. Toll roads alone, that's cheaper. Then you build in gas and everything. It's crazy. And it took me from where I was staying with my sister-in-law and her husband. It wasn't too far away. I took the subway over to grab the bus, and then it wasn't that bad. So that part of it wasn't a hassle. And then when I got it from Chicago to Indianapolis, it took me downtown Indianapolis. We live probably about 30 minutes-ish, 20 to 30 minutes, depending if it's a car or a bus, away from downtown. So once I got downtown, I had to take another bus to my home. But door to door, it was only about 5 hours. And typically door to door, I'm doing that in about 3.5, 3:45. But it was stress-free. Because I was so busy from being at the International Association of the Chiefs of Police, that convention, I was pretty tired. So I got a chance to take a nap, probably about an hour, 45-minute nap. Got a chance to go online a little bit and just relax, and then also just look out the side of the window. So it was extremely like a stress-free trip, and it was raining. So that's even more stressful when you're behind the wheel than if you're kind of just relying on the bus driver. So I really enjoyed it, and my encouragement is to look at those different forms of transportation. Sometimes, especially in America, we think of it as, if you grew up in the eras that I did when the Greyhounds in the 80s were like, oh my God, you don't want to go on a Greyhound. Well, I think stuff now has really changed. And these bus options are really nice. Some of them have Wi-Fi. They do have a toilet on board, and they're relatively clean as well. And the passengers aren't scary figures, because a lot of the stuff that we would think about in the 80s riding the bus, you think about there's some scary figures on the bus riding with you, but it's not that way. So I highly recommend, if you live in the Midwest, or depending upon the part of the country that you live in, and you can take a 3 to 6 hour bus ride or even longer, I would at least look at those websites. If it's just you as a traveler, maybe there's you're trying to do some couple traveling, and then you just get there and maybe you need to Uber around a little bit. But I think that you'll be surprised at how much you could save doing it that way, but also the stress-free aspect of it as well, and kind of the adventure notion, you know what I mean, of being on a bus and you just feel like it's an adventure. So totally recommend that. And then Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Just the quick highlights. Had a blast. We went to the Steeler game, which they have epic tailgates. Their fan base is extreme. They probably had the best fan base nationwide. When you go city to city, there's always Steeler Nation everywhere. So to be at a tailgate and see these folks in action, I don't know. I told Nikki, I think that the kids are just super tough in Pittsburgh because you just see them hanging out, playing football all day, and tossing the football around, and just how they interact with the adults. But also the tailgate itself is a lot of fun. Everybody's really open and inviting, and it's just a lot of great music. We saw tons of great food. And then it's because of how Heinz Field, that's where the Steelers play, is situated downtown, there's all kinds of restaurants you can just walk to. So you can walk to a restaurant, have a couple beers, and then walk to the stadium real easy. And then it's even near the Pirate Stadium as well. So as their whole downtown is very convenient. I mean, it's a smaller city in America. Sometimes that stuff's not always convenient. Sometimes the stadium's outside of town a little bit. But in their case, everything is situated perfectly, and it made it for a great time. And then the other nights we went to a couple of local bars where there were some Carnegie Mellon kids and alumni hanging out, and we had a chance to watch some games. And I had some wings and just watched some sports events on TV. And then we also did a World Barbershop adventure, which was neat because we did it with a local barber that cuts hair for a few of the Steelers. The barbershop was called Hair on Bedford Square, where I had a haircut by Sin. She was fantastic, great barber, unbelievable skills. And then Antoine Dion is the owner, and he cuts a lot of the athletes' hair. So Juju Smith-Schuster was in the house. If you don't know who Juju Smith is, he's a wide receiver for the Steelers and very talented and charismatic and a lot of fun. And Jalen Samuels, their running back, was there. And then a couple other players, Ulysses Gilbert, Johnny Holton, and Chukwuma Okafor were there as well. So I got a chance to see him interact with them as clients, and then just kind of talk to them and hang out with them as well. So it was a lot of fun. So, but that whole trip itself for Nikki, that was really Nikki's first getaway in 6 months since we've been home. I've had a chance to do some cool stuff, but Nikki's been working her tail off. So that was her first chance to get out of the house, get some alone time, and taking a new adventure, new city like we did for so long on the road. And we've got some cool stuff coming up. We got a Phoenix trip coming up, like I described, and I got the Philippines on the horizon. So we're still mixing in some adventures, but definitely back kind of in the flow of home time and spending time with family and friends and stuff like that. So that is it. That's how I'm going to wrap that up that way. I guess one favor as I close out the season 2. I'm so excited about season 2, Amazon Prime World Barbershop Adventures. If you get a chance, you watch a show or two. The best way you can help me is just to go on your Amazon app. It's right on your Amazon app. You go on your Amazon app, whether you're like if you're going to buy toothpaste on Amazon, you go in the same search engine and you type in World Barbershop Adventures, and then you're going to see the series pop up. When you see the series pop up, click on it, and then you can give a 5-star rating. And it's as easy as giving a 5-star rating. And then if you want to give a quick review, that probably takes you a minute. Type out the subject title and a few words. Matt looked cool doing this barbershop in Kingston. I mean, you don't have to do much at all, but that 5-star rating, because it translates into when people watch the show, they see the ratings above the show. So if I've got like 50, 100, 200 5-star reviews up there, Amazon's going to put that in front of more people, which is going to help grow the audience. It's going to help show the love of culture and travel around the world, which I'm trying to do. All right. Thank you so much for listening. Again, happy Thanksgiving. Plan that big trip in 2020. Have a blast, and look forward to talking to you again soon.